Okay, I'm going to start. Introduce myself for those who don't know me. My name is Julie Martineaux. I'm the Executive Director here in Hamilton. I appreciate you all coming out to hear some added rules and policies that the Housing Authority here in Hamilton is looking to implement as part of your lease. And just when you move in, everyone signs a standard lease that everybody in the Commonwealth of Mass, every housing authority uses the same lease. You sign that. This piece of paper that I gave you is actually an addendum. So anybody that moves in, from the time this is approved, this is part of your lease. For all of you residents here that already are our residents and have already signed a lease, we'll be requiring you to sign this lease addendum just once, and we'll probably implement that around October. When everybody gets a new rent, we do the annual recertification that goes out in June. You have to bring all your paperwork in because everybody gets a new rent effective October 1st. And at that time, we'll ask you to sign that once it's implemented. Okay? So I'm going to go over, I think, just to be able to answer the questions everybody might have. I'm going to start with number 1. I'm going to read it to you, explain it to you, and then if you have any questions, just raise your hand. And we'll go through it because I feel if we go through every single one of them, you might forget a question that you've had on that particular topic. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I said, this is going to be a lease addendum, which is the rules and policies. So, for the top of it is the lease executed. That's the day anybody moves in between, and where the X's are is where the tenant's name is in the Hamilton housing, okay? The first thing we're going to talk about is lockouts, okay? Lockouts. A lockout is when you get locked out of your apartment, okay? We're going to start charging. We're going to implement a charge for maintenance to come let you in, okay? But these charges only occur when maintenance staff is not here. So we're talking weekends, holidays, nights. He leaves at 4 o'clock, so if it's 4:15, that's an overtime call. He's here at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you get locked out of your apartment at 7 and you don't want to wait the hour, and you're going to call the service to have maintenance come let you in, that's an overtime call, okay? So, like I said, it's 2 o'clock right now, and for example, let's say I get locked out of my apartment. I know the office is not open right now. It's closed on Wednesdays, but you know the drill. You contact the office, and they'll page Steve. Well, it's 2 o'clock. Steve works Monday through Friday, 8 to 4. So Steve will come let you in, and there's no charge for that because he's working, okay? These fees come into play when it's after hours, before hours, weekends, or holidays, okay? So the first time it happens, it's a $10 charge. The second time it happens, it's a $20 charge. And then the third time, it's the actual expense. We're not trying to make money. We're just actually trying to recoup what we have to pay to our maintenance personnel to come let you in. If you lose your keys, yeah, it's unforgetful, and you call the service to have maintenance come let you in, we have to pay our maintenance staff time and a half, whether it takes them 5 minutes or 10 minutes to open that door. So we're just trying to recoup what the housing authority has to pay us.
What about calling the police? Can we still do that?
Do you do that now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. These are when you initiate the call to the answering service,
Right.
and Steve is dispatched out. And that's only for a lockout. That's not, we'll talk about emergency calls, when we get down to that section.
Yeah.
But this is strictly lockouts. In the past, has anybody ever been charged for a lockout?
No.
This is something new, okay?
Just scares me, Julie, but a lot of times the police department will come too.
Okay, well, if they're willing to,
They do.
That's
How-
wonderful.
How did they get in? I mean,
You have to raise your hand. Just raise your hand so we're all talking. But if the Hamilton Police Department does that, that's wonderful. I said, because you're not gonna find that in another city or town.
I know.
It's rare that another city, and I'll use Ipswich for example. They're not gonna come let somebody in if somebody from the housing authority calls that has a lockout. So you guys are fortunate enough. And if you go that route and they come and let you in after hours or weekends, holidays and night, that's great. It's not gonna affect you. It's only gonna affect you when you have to call the service.
Right.
Because they can't come or whatever it may be. Jim?
I just want to know, someone that's used the police service, how do they get in? I mean,
I
they also
assume
don't have
it's
a key.
they have to have emergency keys anyway,
Oh, I see.
in case something happens to us,
Yeah,
and
right.
that's
And
how they do it.
we supply the police department and we supply the fire department a master key. In the event that if something happened when the office is not here and they needed to get into a unit for a medical aid and they couldn't get into the door. So yes,
That's fine.
they have that. So do we have any other questions pertaining to the lockout? Like I said, we're not trying to make money, we're just trying to implement a way for the housing authority to get back the fees that they have to pay out for maintenance staff.
Oh, sorry, we need another one.
Okay, we're gonna move on to number 2, which is the key policy. And when anybody moves in, they're given 2 sets of keys, okay? We'll be more than happy to make additional keys for you. It's gonna be $5 a key, okay? You can go to your local hardware store and also have them make them, whether you go down to Dawson's or, I don't even know, does JT Auto Parts do them? I don't know. I think it's just Dawson's.
Dawson.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Dawson's charges you.
Less than 5.
Yes.
Okay.
I just actually went this morning for my locks. My locks are not, I've had to get keys over and over and over again that just don't work.
Okay.
Maybe you can swap them.
So, well, if that's a work order, we'll talk about that
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
So like I said, we'll make them, and look at, I have a typo here. So, $5 a key, just so you know. And then this is moving forward. Tenants, anybody moving in, anybody signs a lease, this is not going to affect you because you're already our existing tenants. But this is going to be implemented that anybody that moves in, at the time they sign their lease, they'll be required to pay a $10 key deposit fee. Okay, so we're not going to implement it. This is for any new residents moving in. It'll be implemented. So emergency calls. So next, did anyone have another question about keys before we move on? That was pretty self-explanatory. You know what? I made 20.
Curtis, can you give her yours? There you go. Thanks, Curtis.
The next thing we're going to talk about is emergency calls. So the Hamilton Housing Authority will respond to calls after hours and on weekends and holidays if the problem reported involves a condition that, if it was left uncorrected, constitute a violation of the state sanitary code. So what an example is for an emergency, and most of you all know, you've been here long enough, but example is no heat, no hot water, no electricity, a broken water pipe, a plugged toilet. Those are emergencies. You're well aware we'll change your lights in your apartment, but that's not considered an emergency. So if your lights in your bathroom go out on a Saturday, you can wait till the next business day to call the housing authority. We'll generate a work order and take care of that for you. But that doesn't constitute maintenance to come out over the weekend or holidays or nights to fix. I know in the past, just so you know, tenants have used the system and wanted their lights changed, and relayed the message to the answering service that it was a health and safety issue. If we do come out and find that it wasn't a health and safety issue and you just really wanted your light bulb changed, we're gonna charge you for the maintenance call.
How much is that?
Well, what if the light goes out in the bathroom? That leaves us in the dark and kind of in danger.
Yep, but you also can provide your own light bulbs. We will do it for you, but we're not gonna come out for an emergency to change that.
And what would that cost?
Time and a half maintenance. So you're talking probably $30 and something cents.
Oh, we have the new lights anyway.
Yeah,
They're beautiful.
aren't they nice?
Wonderful.
Yep, yep, and
Because I know this kind of hesitant, but I'm just curious, like, if, say if your refrigerator dies on you.
that's an emergency.
Okay.
Refrigerator,
The health
stove,
emergency kind of
yeah,
thing?
refrigerator, stove, those are
Yeah.
things. And you know the drill, you're gonna call the housing authority,
Yeah.
the number, you're gonna get a 24-hour answering service, you're gonna identify yourself, your address, and what the nature of the problem is. Okay? Lots of times you might call the service, and the service has a list of what we define as an emergency, and a lot of things aren't dispatched because they're not an emergency.
Right.
So you might call them and report something, and then nobody shows up, it's because it wasn't an emergency. But we get those messages, so if you call on a Saturday and you say, oh, my light bulb went out, I need a work order, we'll get that message the next business day, which would be Monday.
What about a broken window, like during winter? If it doesn't stay up and it keeps falling down? Like
That's
this
just
light?
remote, yeah.
Yeah. can you-
Twice, that's the second
The
time.
broken window is an emergency because,
All right.
you know, the cold air, it's a safety thing, and then it'll be evaluated, for example, she's talking about a broken window, will be evaluated to who broke the window. And a tenant could be, you could be charged, and you could be charged for the material and the labor to fix that. Okay?
Well,
Just
I'm not
for,
talking about glass breaking, like, I don't know.
So it's just.
so is the windows on ropes? The
Yeah.
windows on ropes?
Yeah, well, it's on chains or something. Sometimes when I wash the windows, they break. Not the window part of it, but the the
Oh, the
inside.
frame.
Yeah, it must
So it
be
doesn't
on-
stay up.
Oh,
Yeah, it must
Brand
be
new
like on
windows.
a.
I never heard of that.
Well, we'll talk, we'll talk about a work order, but if it hasn't, what couldn't be done to it? You can't lock it?
Well, you can lock it, but sometimes it won't stay up if you lock it, and it will fall down. So I was just wondering if that would be considered,
No, no, broken glass,
yeah, I'm not,
Yeah.
Okay.
no.
So if it was broken glass, it would be like an emergency.
Well, yeah.
obviously,
Health of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not
All of that.
that.
Yeah.
So, it states, any
Question?
calls made after hours, weekends, holidays that do not constitute actual emergencies will be
Question.
responded during regular hours. The actual cost of legal expense in the effort to,
this should be in a separate section.
yeah.
Someone's missed.
Oh, you know what? Oh, what did I?
You
Am I
have
not-
to pass out.
do you have all the pages?
We
No.
just have two.
I have one,
Oh,
I have 1, 3, 5.
1 of 5.
I go from 7 to
Got straight
1, 3, and 5.
legal expenses under emergency.
Well, that's why that other section doesn't belong.
Oh, 1, 3,
See what happens with the rush? Alright,
5.
so I'm gonna go, alright, so we went 3,
1,
right?
3, and 5. We're missing 4.
Yeah, we don't have
2.
3 and 4, right?
2 and, we're missing 2 and 4.
Oh, 2 and 4.
4, 5, and 6.
2 and 4. Oh, right, we have a 3.
2 and 4.
2 and 4. 2 and 4. Hold on.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 5 pages.
Whoopsie, Julie.
Okay. So,
Well, do you have pictures, Julie?
no, I
So this will be continued for another day.
know. No, we'll finish. I'm gonna, wait a minute. I'm gonna,
We having a break?
nope, wait one second.
And 8, 7, and this will be 8, and this.
Bless you.
So I've got this new